Loadout drop headed your way.
You ever find yourself just chilling at home, you walk out the front door and your idiot drunken neighbor's just standing there with his pants around his ankle? Yeah, that seems to be a common occurrence in my life, but luckily I found the solution to such a problem. You see, the Fennec has this magical property about it that basically allows it to erase anyone who, quite frankly, is asking for it. Which a lot of people do not know, because not a lot of people use the Fennec for some reason. I've seen careers ruined because some people think they're too good to use the Fennec, and it's mind-boggling to me. A good friend of mine that I used to play Warzone with, he kept dying. He kept using the MP7, switched it up to MP5, but he never switched to the Fennec, ignored my requests, and I said, you know what, buddy, you gotta take a hike. You gotta take a hike. This is the big leagues. If you're not using the Fennec, then I have no use for your services here. I completely blocked him on all my contacts. I told all my other friends, do not play with him anymore. He's not using the Fennec. Now no one really talks to him at school. He sits alone a lot of the time, and you know, it's just kind of sad to see someone's life ruined like that, and then, you know, all they had to do was use the Fennec, and it's a really sad story to see, but you should have watched my Fennec weapon comparison video, in which we discussed quite a multitude of things. First, we talked about the fire rate, which brought us from no boner to full boner, just like that. Completely skipped over the semi-boner function. That's how insane the fire rate was. It was like hooking up a balloon animal to an air compressor. It was a sight to behold. Then that ridiculous fire rate took us to the time to kill charts, where we saw the Fennec clean house on the MP7 and do quite a number on the MP5, especially in the close range section. And then just last week we were reminded of the Fennec's range, outclassed by the new ISO SMG. But there you can see the Fennec on par with the MP7 and, more importantly, the MP5. So what gives here? Am I just an idiot here, trying to make the Fennec work? Am I chasing an unattainable dream? Oh my god, someone better breathalyze this driver immediately. This is disastrous. Well, let's be honest here, the Fennec is a very niche weapon. Its high fire rate and good range is brought down by its bullet velocity and magazine capacity. This in turn makes the Fennec at medium and long range not very viable, much like that accuracy I just put on display there. So the only conclusion is that people are holding on to the MP5s and the MP7s because across the board they are an effective weapon. They don't require you to be in a certain situation to get full potential out of said weapon, unlike the Fennec. But I say frig that. I say frig that to heck, because the Fennec is so spectacular at close range that it is worth sacrificing your medium and long range potential with your SMG choice. It's like if I came up to you with this ultimatum. I said you can date Megan Fox or you can date Phyllis Diller. One just has a single talent, and that's just looking like a hot piece of ass. The other one is multi-talented, you know. They're not as good looking, but they're kind of good looking, and they're funny, and they're personable, and they give amazing foot rubs. But if you had to ask me, you know, the choice is obvious. You know, I'm taking the hot piece of ass. You know, in other words, the Fennec. And I care about one thing and one thing only. That's dummying kids at close range. And I'm not going to get that with the MP5. But with the Fennec, look at that. Put him to sleep instantly. Now he's having dreams of sweet, sweet Phyllis Diller. But I got news for you, Buster. That's my girl. And just like Phyllis, the Fennec's my gun. And I'm pumping to it every night. Alright, so let's get started with some makeup for this beautiful thing. Damascus, always on. That's a no-brainer right there. And as is tradition here at the shithouse, we're gonna slap on the Doge, and then we're gonna slap some genitalia sticker on. Now let's work our way over to the attachments. The first attachment is the first you must have for the Fennec, and that's gonna be the 40-round drug mag. Now the default mag size is 25 bullets. That's just not gonna cut with this Fennec. It shoots far too fast to even think about getting away with such an atrocity like that. So 40 bullets is gonna help with that, and sometimes that doesn't even seem like enough, but it's the best we got, so make sure you got that on there. The next best attachment is going to be on the barrel, and we actually got a few options here. So the first thing, we can just use the ZLR 18-inch Deadfall. This is going to give us a host of advantages: sound suppression, recoil control, and most importantly, damage range. Bullet velocity we don't really care about since we're trying to create the ultimate close range beast. But let's quickly take a look at the increase in range, which is arguably the most important part of the barrel. The 18-inch barrel is going to extend our close range distance to 16 meters. For those of you keeping track at home, the Fennec's default close range is 11 meters. Slapping on the Deadfall barrel puts it up to 16 meters. But we got options here, so what we can do is we can take the Deadfall barrel off and switch it with the Apex barrel. Now the Apex barrel isn't as long as the Deadfall, nor is it silenced like the Deadfall, but it doesn't lock the muzzle attachment category. So then we can slap on the ZLR Sabre, where we can get our sound suppression, and then we get even more damage range and recoil control. Now our Fennec shaft is looking suspiciously like Ron Jeremy's, extending completely outside of the field of view. Now this time when we do our range test, instead of extending the default close range to 16 meters, we clock in here at 18 meters. This gives our close range distance an extra 2 meters on the Deadfall barrel, giving us a total of 7 meters on the default barrel. Now along with the range boost, we also got some recoil control advantages. We got the Deadfall on the left, the Sabre and Apex on the right. And it doesn't take a PhD to see that these two recoil patterns are almost the exact same. On the right is the Sabre and the Apex, two attachments that compensate the recoil compared to the one attachment on the left, so we expect to see a little bit of an improvement. And that's exactly what we see, but not too much of an improvement. The horizontal recoil is definitely affected a little bit, but the vertical recoil is not too much of a difference. Now for me, the 2 meter range advantage and the slightly easier to control recoil is not worth the extra attachment, so I'm just going to take those off. I'm just going to stick with the Deadfall. And now I'm just going to increase the gun's overall mobility, so we're going to go over to the rear grip tape. It's got to be stripled, baby. And then we're going to take the stock off so we can run around like an absolute maniac. And then you've got one last attachment, and that's pretty much dealer's choice. I've been using an optic just to help with my accuracy as I transition over to mouse and keyboard, but I think optics are kind of a waste, especially on SMGs. I think a grip could be a suitable choice. Commando 4 grip doesn't reduce any of the mobility and gives you a little bit of an edge on recoil. Sleight of hand works too, given how fast you'll burn through these mags. And of course you're going to need a secondary, one that's going to make up for the Fennec's shortfalls when it comes to medium and long range. So you're probably not going to be able to rock a sniper, because then you've got absolutely no medium range coverage. You guys know me, I love the M13. This thing is a machine. This thing is basically like a sniper, so you get an assault rifle and you get the long range as well, which is perfect for the Fennec since, like we've mentioned 1,000 times, it's just for close range. Of course, it is just a matter of preference. I love the M13, but there are other options out there, just as long as you're not using a sniper. I mean, you could even use the Bruin if you wanted, if you really wanted to be a hero. But there you have it. You now have a weapon that will never lose a close quarter combat battle, as long as your accuracy is better than the other person. At medium range, the Fennec may not be the most superior weapon, but it can definitely put up some numbers for sure, no questions asked. This has been an absolute blast of a gun to use. It's definitely my go-to combined with my M13 now. Its ability to just melt cannot be understated enough. It is a sight to witness, a sight to behold, if you will. Anyways, that's pretty much all I wanted to talk about today. Definitely give this loadout a try and let me know how it goes. I almost can guarantee that you will be very pleased, to say the least. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time.